Then let's get it started.
Lilac, and I have with me Jakuts here, and yes indeed we are doing a race for F5, and thanks to the wonderful donations, this was done like hours ago too, like it blew my mind basically. You all met the incentive for the hard mode version of this race, so you guys are gonna watch us have a little bit more trouble through the floors as we go down. We will be stopping at Overlord in this one. And we have our settings over here for general race settings. And with the code commentators that I have with me, I have Nick and Kat.
Hello.
Hello.
Alright, let's get the show on the road. So without further ado, I'm going to go quiet now and let my commentators take the stage while we do our thing.
Alright, thank you very much. So, I believe, Kat, you're doing the countdown?
Correct. Alright. Counting down in 3, 2, 1. Begin.
Alright, so this is Star of Providence. This is a shmup roguelike fusion game originally released in 2017 by Team D13. And this year in 2025, it received a major update with the Into Oblivion expansion, which included a port to the Switch, which was in part published by Big Mode, so thank you Big Mode for that. The core gameplay loop of this game is you want to go through the floors to reach the depths of the facility, and in order to do that, you have to defeat the bosses of every floor, and in order to do that, you must also defeat the mini-bosses that are hiding in every floor. And along the way, you will be doing things like collecting upgrades, gathering weapons, going to shops, and maybe encountering a few special things along the way. So, to start with, one of the most important things to take into consideration is weapons. So, Kat, why don't you tell us a little bit about how weapons work?
Weapons are functionally your main ways of combating the enemies and bosses throughout the facility. Every character starts with a default pea shooter that never runs out of ammo, and throughout each of their runs, they can find various weapon troves that give them options for various weapons that will have different keywords that may impact how they work, or different types of weapons, like they could find a laser that shoots, a laser, or they can find a drill that pierces through walls, among many other things. However, these weapons have ammo, and if they run out of ammo, they break and bring you back down to the basic pea shooter.
Yep. Very good. One of the other things you'll find, for instance, Jakuts right there just broke down a weapon trove, and he picked up a drill. Now, every weapon has a type, which is like, is it a laser or a fireball, and then keywords, which are modifiers on top of it. So it will have like triple or homing and such. The other thing...
I believe this one said it was triple void.
Yep. So Jakuts has decided to go to the boss, Guardian, straight away, whereas Taylor is taking the time to find a few more things, and... Oh, they're looking at their options here. They're going to be taking a laser. So Jakuts has successfully defeated the boss of the floor, but they're gonna still hang around, see if they can find something more. One of the other things we saw the players grab was something called an upgrade. Kat, you want to tell them about upgrades a little bit?
Like weapons, most of the floors, with the exception of a couple of the later ones, will have an upgrade terminal where the player can choose one of 3 upgrades to permanently change how they can impact the run. For example, one of the really good upgrades that you can sometimes find is known as Fortune, which makes it so you get better item drops more frequently and just more item drops in general. Or you could find other things like a teleport dash, the ability to revive on death. Like, they can change how you might tackle things, and especially in a speedrun sense, or even in a race, they can make or break how quickly you're able to go.
Yeah, so we see Jakuts getting another upgrade right now. they're getting weatherproof, which is basically a defensive upgrade that allows them to not be harmed or affected by certain environmental threats or elements. So two of the biggest considerations the runners will have is damage and mapping. So damage basically means, do you have a weapon that has good keywords that deals a lot of damage, and can you just go through rooms quickly? And mapping, which is essentially finding your way across the level. Because the levels are procedurally generated, players have to find their way across the floor, and because it's a race, they have to try and get through as quickly as possible. And so it's helpful to both clear rooms as quickly as possible, but also get information about where everything is on the floor.
Plus, where it's the both runners are running the same seed, it means that they both will have the exact same floor layouts, usually, for the most part at least. I know there's a couple things that can sometimes cause weird levels of deviation, but generally speaking, they will have the same seed. And once again, if one person decides to go left and another person goes up, they might find different things.
And it's worth pointing out that in both, for this race and in competition, players are allowed to look at each other's screens to see what the other one has found. So I see both of our players here have a Pulse Waves laser, which is a very good good weapon, I should say, because if you get up close to enemies, all of those little bullets that are flying across the side will immediately spawn inside the hurt box of the enemies, and it will deal a ton of damage. But it's also a very risky weapon. Jakuts over here is taking a lot of damage. They're very low on health. So if they get a choice of reward for beating the boss between health or damage. Jakuts is wisely going to take health because, oh dear.
Meanwhile, because Taylor still has a good solid 10 HP, they are content and free to almost basically guaranteed take the damage and keep possibly pushing ahead with that extra power.
So, for the sake of this particular run, the runners will be going down 5 floors. They are both currently in the 3rd floor. The deeper they go into the run, the more mini-bosses the floors will tend to have, and the bosses and the floors themselves will get larger, so you will have to go through more and more rooms and defeat even more foes to get to the end. Jakuts is getting another upgrade. Ooh, they're picking Scrap Runner. Scrap Runner will give them a speed and damage boost as they collect money, but it also gets reset if they take any damage. So it's a kind of snowball, keep your momentum going weapon.
You can profit off it if you're not taking damage, but if you are constantly getting hit or a boss takes a long time, it will not end up providing much benefit other than looking shiny.
So Taylor just picked up a interesting weapon, the Claw. So aside from the normal weapons, which we discussed, like type and keywords, there are unique weapons, which are bespoke weapons with unique traits, which are cool looking, but they're not always necessarily the most effective. Jakuts, I think, is gonna have to switch soon. Ooh, it's a spear.
Infested Ricochet.
Oh,
and they immediately also find it and take the claw.
Yeah, it's just a cool weapon. Oh, Taylor's also picking up another upgrade. Oh,
they're also going with Scrap Runner. Okay.
Yeah, Scrap Runner is a good upgrade if you just want to go fast, because it will just reward you for doing well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And as you may also see, there's also shops that are available to players where they can stock up. Sometimes you might get interesting shopkeepers. Some of them will ask for health instead of money, or they will just ask you to gamble away your money for maybe getting a reward. Ooh,
yep.
They seem to be getting a little bit of trouble. But Jakuts is pulling ahead, going to the boss of the floor 3. It's Devourer, just giant worm.
Also, a relatively slow fight, which might give Taylor a bit of a chance to catch up, though they'll also have to deal with it being a relatively slow fight.
Yep. So one of the big concerns as you're running this game, as you go deeper into the floors just get larger and the rooms themselves get more difficult and they have tricky layouts. So having there's an interesting balance between having a weapon that's very good at dealing with rooms, so they have things like utility abilities, like, oh, it can go through walls, it has more projectiles, the projectiles bounce, versus having weapons that are good at single target damage, which are the bosses. And this is a balance the players are constantly having to evaluate. I think Claw is kind of not as fast as I would like. Yeah.
It's doing a fairly decent amount against Devourer, but in rooms with lots of enemies, it certainly struggles.
Yeah. Jakuts, meanwhile, Jakuts is pulling ahead to floor 4. They have a good weapon, they have good health, and they have the advantage. Alright. I should also say, there's a lot more to this game that we are not going to be showing in this run, but there's a lot of secrets to uncover and a lot more gameplay mechanics to examine while you're at it.
There are many layers to this game.
Yep. Jakuts is about to get another upgrade just as Taylor enters floor 4. Oop. They're getting reserves. Reserves is a damage boost, as well as improving the default pea shooter should they ever run out of ammo.
It is probably one of the nicest upgrades on a speedrun for just being safe, raw, bonus damage.
Indeed. Jakuts doing a good pace here. They're speeding by quite well.
Yeah.
Not getting hit means Scrap Runner meter is staying up.
Which, to mention with Scrap Runner, it adds the red bar that is underneath both Taylor and Jakuts' scrap count that slowly is going up and down whenever they collect stuff or take damage.
Taylor has taken Focus, which is an upgrade that just triples their iframes after taking damage. Perhaps a wise choice. They're taking a few hits, and this may come in handy when they reach Overlord, which is going to be the final boss of this run at the end of floor 5, which is very tanky.
Taylor also picking up a cartridge that makes it so they, on finishing a room, any enemy projectiles that are still present get destroyed immediately and provide a small bit of scrap. Cartridges are a small additional thing that the players can sometimes find. They show up as room rewards. Sometimes you'll find a shopkeeper who sells them, and a bunch of them have various effects that can give bonuses to the player, be it here, Golden Star, destroying enemy projectiles. You can make it so one reflects enemy bullets. There's a lot to see, and usually there's not a downside to picking them up, because they're just going to help you out along the way.
Jakuts has pulled ahead and is going up to the 4th boss, Ordinator. So they're getting some inconvenient attacks. Taylor, meanwhile, I think there's Taylor's favorite mini boss. They've just found it. As soon as this is dead, they can go over to the boss and start the fight. As Jakuts is just finishing up, and they're going to choose to dive down to floor 5, which is going to be the final floor for this run. And now they have to find 3 mini bosses in a gigantic floor before they can meet Overlord.
You've got some messages here. Let me know when a good time for them would be.
I think right now would be a good time.
Cool. I have $20 from Ronkle, who says, shout out to the Sprint staff supporting a great cause. Remember, trans rights are human rights.
Thank you, Ronkle. Nice to see you back. Alright. Taylor moving down to floor 5, but they're a little bit low on health and a little bit low on ammo. Jakuts, by contrast, looking much healthier, but we shall see. Maybe Taylor can turn the tide. Maybe the Overlord fight goes awry.
Or maybe with such a large floor with 3 mini-bosses that they have to locate, Taylor ends up finding one of them first that Jakuts takes time to find. We have certainly seen that happen before.
Yeah, in competitions, in the tournaments we sometimes host, that definitely happens. Okay. Jakuts picking up a runic gun. good for room clears. And now they're going to pick up their final upgrade, which is going to be stealth, which just means enemies take longer to wake up and entering rooms. The other two upgrades weren't very useful at this point in the run. Taylor, meanwhile, finally finding the weapon trope, so they can not have to use the basic shooter.
Both of those other upgrades would have been nicer for our racers to see at the beginning of the run, as one of them was the aforementioned Fortune, and the other provides random map scanning on the start of a new floor.
Which, again, very useful 4 floors ago. Now it's just like, well...
Scanner makes a really
nice,
like shiny thing to add if you wanted to, but it doesn't do a whole lot when you're on the last floor.
I will take this moment to mention that if you play this game for long enough, and certainly if you focus on speedrunning, players will tend to develop a bit of an intuition for floor generation where things generally will be. So this is a wide floor 5 that we've seen a couple of times, just things very spread out in a horizontal band, which can be troublesome because it can take a long time to traverse. Jakuts has defeated all mini-bosses but has not found where the boss is located.
Taylor's
just now finding the final upgrade terminal.
I think we might be able to get some assistance with that if there's time for a quick donation.
Sure.
Yeah, $10 from What If Girl says, "Good luck, Taylor and Jakuts. Go beat Overlord."
Thank you, What If Girl. Good to see you. Okay.
Where is Overlord?
Both of our players are having... Both of our players are having trouble finding where the boss is located. Taylor has found, I think, their last mini-boss. But neither of them know where Overlord is.
He knows they're coming for him and want to destroy him. He is hiding away.
Gigantic floor. Is it located in one? It's definitely one of the corners somewhere. There it is! Taylor has found it first. Alright, we'll go. Taylor is just entering Overlord. Jakuts has just found the room. Overlord is a gigantic boss fight with 3 phases and 11,000 HP split into all 3 of them. It is the final test, and once you enter the fight, that's it. It's win or game over.
Win or die. Would also like to note that despite Taylor coming into floor 5 with very low HP, they have pulled themselves back to having actually more than Jakuts has at this point, and are in a safer spot because of focus.
That's true, but at this point, the thing that matters the most is raw
This
DPS.
is very
Taylor
true.
entered...
They are very close.
Yep. Taylor started just a little bit sooner, but it's a question of like which weapon has more DPS.
Neither of these weapons are particularly amazing weapons for most running situations. So it will come down to accuracy.
Yep. Gotta make sure your shots land or that's DPS wasted.
Yep.
Taylor remains slightly ahead entering to the final phase. This phase is relatively easy. Overlord just moves in like a small circle area. So it's just a matter of who will do it first. Time's gonna be coming up soon. Taylor counting shots. Oh, it's getting real close.
Oh, it is.
Okay, get ready for time.
Seconds apart.
Time.
Taylor's out.
Taylor with a 1739 and Jakuts with a 1740.
Oh, okay.
Down to the second difference.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
1 second difference, and it's a win for Taylor, but so
An
close.
excellent showing from both of them, though, all the same.
What a finish. Wow.
Oh man. Oh man.
gosh.
That was
Oh, okay.
1 second.
Holy.
Now that's a good showing.
Great show, you guys. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'll do my shoutouts right now. Shout, of course, Ronkly donated earlier. Shout out to the Sprint community. That's our Star of Providence Racing League. We will eventually have another racing league at some point. We just got a little busy, but yeah, shout out to Ronkly, Squega, Paperlore. Gosh, who else? You two, Nick and Kat,
Shinji.
and Shinji as well. All amazing people, and shout outs to the developers for making this game and making it quite the game.
Shout out to the developers Alex Middle, Pure Question, Garroslaw, and Flan. Thank you for making this wonderful game.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Jackets, do you have any shout outs?
Shout outs to everybody already mentioned. Shout outs to Echofar. Cannot think of any others off the top of my head. Just within community. But
Kat, do you have
shout
any
outs to
shout outs?
Video Game Tucky for, I guess,
yeah.
All right.
and Big Mode.
Yeah.
A third set of shout-outs to everyone that's already been mentioned, but I am also going to give an additional shout-out to Taylor themselves for getting me into this game in the first place.
Thank you. It's a good game.
All right.
It is.
These people have shouted out everyone. I think I'm done.
Yeah. You can find Jackets at Jackets. These shout-outs for that to that, and I do stream occasionally. ? I'm gonna try and get back into streaming at some point. As soon as I figure out how to capture my Switch 2. Most of it's probably going to be Kirby Air Riders. So if you are interested in more like racing style things, I will be probably eventually doing Kirby Air Riders on stream. But besides that, I think that's it for me.
Yeah. Fun. I'm going to be soon upload. I have a lot of previous runs up to 2 years ago that I have yet to upload to YouTube. So I'm going to be. I've been on a thumbnail grind to have those videos go out. So I'm excited to finally be caught up on a whole bunch of speedrunning. Most of them are going to be Bleed 2 videos. I have a few other games videos planned, like Hades 1, as I have to mention now, and Bleed 1 as well. So there's a whole lot coming on the YouTubes for me, and I'll see if I can get back into streaming some other games in the future as well. So catch me on Twitch and everywhere else. Glad to be here.
All right.
That's it for us. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you all. Chat, give it up one more time for Lilac, Jackets, Nick, and Kat for that amazing showcase of Star Providence in an F5 race. Holy moly, I don't think you could have asked for a better finish there, so thank you all so much. I've actually got one more shout-out for you all. I've got a shout-out of my own, although it's not from me. It's from the Optical Mouse, who sends $10 and says, "For Taylor, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so grateful to have been your friend for the last 10 years.
Aww.
And we still share a brain cell after all this time."
Thank you, Mouse.
Thank you, Mouse, for that $10. Thank you for those shout-outs. Chat, if you have any other shout-outs to this amazing run, feel free to send in a donation with that. But with that, thank you so much for that run. Again, we're going to get set up for our next run here, so stick around, folks. We'll be back real shortly. Don't go anywhere.